All right, guys, so in this video, I wanted to make it a little bit more of a motivational video. This is for all of you guys that feel stuck, that feel like, you see opportunity everywhere you look, but for whatever reason, whether it be your circumstances or your job or your location, you just don't ever feel like you're going to be able to get out of the hole or get ahead. This video is for you. So what I want to do is I want to tell you a little bit about my story. So by the time I was 19, 20 years old, I was already making six figures. I was doing pretty well. I've been in sales my whole life. I got married when I was 20 years old, and things were going well for a little while, but then all kinds of things just fell apart all at once. And so I went from doing very well to leaving my business in Georgia, moving back to Mississippi, and in 2013, I made less than $40,000. And I'm not going to get into all the reasons for that, but I went from, financially doing way up here to way down here. And I pretty much started off the beginning of 2013 with a clean slate. So I didn't have any money in the bank, but I also didn't have any debt. All of that was paid off, thankfully. And, me and my wife and my two sons at the time, we lived very frugally. We lived off of rice and beans and, just cheap groceries and things like that. And in June, we bought our first house. And, we had to live a certain way in order to do that. It was, basically, we lived off of, $10,000, $15,000, a little less than that probably, for those first 6 months while we were getting this house ready to go. And so if you do feel stuck, if you're living in a state where you don't see a bunch of properties that are in the price range that I show on my channel, or if you have, a nice six-figure a year job in one of these states and you feel like you're scared to step out and, move or do what you have to do in order to seize these opportunities, that's okay. But what I want you to realize is that, one of the things that we learn in sales is that people are not primarily motivated by a desire for gain. What you realize is that people are primarily motivated by fear of loss. That's why so many people are not taking advantage of all these opportunities that I show on my channel. It's because they're scared. And what I want to know from you is the real reason that you have not taken advantage of all these opportunities because you can't? Is it really because you can't? Is it really because, you have a six-figure job in another state and you can't move, or you're tied down, or whatever it might be? Or is the real reason that you're scared? Because if you're scared, that's okay, but you have to be able to admit that. You have to be able to look that fear in the eye and move forward anyway. And if you can't do that, you'll never make it. On the other hand, if you can, you will never regret your choice. You will never regret stepping out on a limb, taking a leap of faith, and diving in. Okay, that's just the bottom line. So again, I say all that to say that it is possible. But you have to be willing to move forward. And today, I'm going to show you a house in Ohio. The reason that I'm showing this house is because in probably the worst month of the year for investors to find good deals, there are 636 homes for sale between the price of $5,000 and $20,000 in Ohio. So we're going to look at this one in Akron. As you can see, I'm already on the 12th page, so I've passed over a couple hundred listings, a couple hundred opportunities so far. There's a lot of good ones that I passed over, and I chose this one specifically because it's also listed on HomePath, and I like the interface of HomePath. It's just a easy way to show you guys some extra cool things. So we're going to look at these pictures here in a minute, but what I want to show you first, a couple things that I want to show you first. You can see that the high rent here is $850 a month. If we go over here to Onboard Navigator, then you can see that the vacancy rate in this area is fairly low. It's 12.6, and that's good for a couple reasons. One, it's good because if the vacancy rate is 12.6, probably half of those houses are not livable. They're dilapidated. You can't rent them out. Nobody can live in them, and that means that there's not very many houses on the market for rent. Not many available houses on the market for rent. So it's going to be a lot easier for you as an investor to rent out your property quickly. A couple other things that I'll show you here real quick. The income, median income is $33,000. There's well over 4,000 people in this area that make less than $30,000, and the HUD fair market rent is $894. So for reasons that I'm not going to get into in this video, we're going to try to rent this property out for $800. But the fair market value, according to Onboard or Neighborhood Navigator, is $894. One last thing, crime rate here, 1.67 times the national average. Most of the properties that I buy are in neighborhoods where it's 4 or 5 times that. So I'm not scared by that at all. So we're going to go back here. We're going to look at these pictures in a little more detail. Pull this up. You can see it's actually a pretty nice house. Doesn't look like it needs a lot done on the exterior. Interior, we'll probably paint, make it look a little nicer. The bathroom does not look bad. That's nice. Probably would do something with these carpets, but the walls are fine. The ceiling looks fine. And we'd paint in here. We might not have to do anything with these floors. I'd have to see them in person. And I think this is a chalkboard right here on this wall. I'm not sure what's going on there, but the kitchen doesn't look bad either. We're gonna have to put some appliances in there. This is the exterior. It's a very small house, 1,200 square feet. Looks like we have a basement / storm shelter area right here. And that's pretty much it. So this particular house, unless you have some major structural problems or some major plumbing issues, or those are going to be your 2 main things for the most part. There are other things you got to worry about, but barring some very serious structural or plumbing issues, you're not going to have a lot of expenses when you're fixing this house up. I think you could get away with $2,000, to be honest with you. Now I'd have to see it, obviously, and I will make a video where I kind of go in more detail about the different things that I look for when I inspect a property in person. We'll get to that. I'm just not there yet. So, but all in all, even if we paid the asking price of $14,900, which if I were bidding on this home, I would probably try to get it for around $13,500. I would, in other areas, I would go as low as, probably $12,000. But being that it is July, being that this does look like a decent house, I'd probably go $13,500, and I would even pay asking price, to be honest with you, if I had to. We're just gonna pop open our calculator here real quick. We got $16,900 is what we are going to have in it all the way. Our property taxes, let me pull that up on Trulia. What is this? We got 5. Trulia is good for giving you an idea of what your property taxes and your insurance is going to be. So I don't use it a lot, but I do use it for that. All right, there we go. So we got $97 a month between homeowners insurance and property taxes on this property. So that's roughly $1,200 a year. We're going to rent this property out for $800 a month. So that's $9,600 a year minus $1,200. And then even though I never really have expenses this high on a yearly basis, we're also going to take out 2 months worth of rent just for unexpected vacancies, unexpected rent, problems collecting, so on and so forth. Did I say unexpected rent? I meant unexpected maintenance issues. So take out another $1,600. That's $6,800 a year that we should be able to profit. And if we multiply that by 2.5, which will give us our 40% interest, you're going to see our budget for this property, which is $17,000. So as long as you could get it for asking price, as long as you could have only $2,000 in it, then you should be able to get that 40% rate of return that we're always talking about. And if there were other issues with the house when you went and looked at it and you saw, oh, it's really going to cost me $3,000 to fix it up or $4,000 to fix it up, well, then just knock that off your bid. Don't bid asking price. So that is pretty much it, guys. Just a short little video. I hope it was motivational for you. If it was, please like and subscribe and share it in your favorite Facebook groups, and I'll see you in the next one.